what is Redux, why we use it, how we use it, what are the components that is in the Redux methodology, and what are the benefit of using Redux. Flow diagram of Redux कि Redux कैसे काम करता है एक्चुअली में, तो आपको एनिमेशन के थ्रू ज़्यादा बेटर समझ में आएगा. That particular single source of truth, generally we call them store. And what is store? So let's talk about the store. What are the component, what are the entity that take parts in the reducer or the Redux? Hello. Though in this video we are going to talk about Redux. What is Redux? Why we use it? How we use it? What are the components that is in the Redux methodology? And what are the benefit of using Redux? So we'll talking about all those pointers. So let's start with the simple definition of what is Redux. So if you talk about Redux in a simple word, so in Redux you can call it, let's define the Redux in simple word, that totally is for state management. State management. And now you will be thinking ki sir, for state management we are also having the context API. Yes, we have context API for the state management, but for the global or large state management we require Redux, Just and or many more. There are framework and libraries for that. So now in this video we're going to talk about Redux, specifically Redux. And Redux, when you talk about Redux, it works on a single phenomena or single ideology of 3 pointers or 3 terms, that is called SST. What is this SST? Let's bring out the full form out. That is known as single source of truth. Yes, what it is? Single source of truth. That means whatever you are dealing with, either it can be a change, either it can be any functionality, it will be dealt using only single source of truth. That means there will be one entity which will be managing the dispatching of the functionality, dispatching of the component, or the receiving of a value. So the store, that particular single source of truth, generally we call them store. And what is store? So let's talk about the store. So in Redux the main entity is store. Everything that you are studying or whenever you are in Redux, it connected to store. What is a store? A store is the storage unit. Obviously that is a storage unit where all the state will be there, all the operation will be performed. Now in the simple definition we'll talk about this, just a container. What it is? It is just a container to hold value. Then for example, if I am having a button to dispatch 10 rupees or disperse 10 rupees, and when I click on this particular button, what the store will be going to do? It's just a container to hold 10 rupees or after the updated balance, whatever it is. But alone store cannot do anything. For that it requires one more entity, that is known as reducers. So this is main thing that you need to study while you are studying Redux. The reducer is a predefined or user defined function to implement the functionality. Either it can be add, subtract, divide, whatever the functionality, it can be modified, it can be user centric as well. So and generally the integral part, the reducer sits inside this store and perform the logic for you. So now let me repeat the definition again. Redux is a state management library in which that believes in a single line, that is called single source of truth. That means for dispatching the action or the receiving the value, only single entity will be responsible. Now let's understand all the component that is the part of this Redux. Okay, now let's understand this thing. So for example, this is a button. This is a button, and this button name is disperse ya credit 10 rupees. When I click on this button, 10 rupees will be credited into my account. After this button hits, and there is a store. Obviously when you are studying Redux, it is a store for sure, and there is a reducer that is sitting. This is the reducer. Okay, now let's call this store, let's call this reducer. Now how we are going to interact from this button to this reducer or the store? So first, when you click on this particular event, when you click on this particular button, what happens? It fires a action, it fires a event. And as you know, if event is being fired, it will be dealt by some other function. It is called event handler. It will be a handler function. So when you click on this particular button, one event will be fired, and this will be dealt by handler function. That is handler function. And what this handler function will do, it will when you click on this button now, then one thing will be given, that is called action. That means action you are providing in case of this event in form of event, and this action will be received by this function, and it will, in the action there is a one term called payload, that is called payload. In action, the payload means the data of the action, whatever you are trying to give the particular function, this payload, and this payload will be transferred directly to this store. This store will receive this payload. But what to do with payload? If the payload is add 10 rupees, that means the current balance is 0. I want to add 10 rupees. So this 10 rupees is the action payload. You have to add the 10 rupees in the current balance, and this store doesn't have anything. This initially style, for example, 0. It doesn't have this empty container. But the logic part that I was talking about, the adding part, that will be done by reducers or slicers, you can call it. So this particular plus, minus, division, whatever you are saying, will be directly dealt by this reducer. When the reducer perform the action, it updates the store as well, and it passes a subscription. It passes the updated UI using props or some tokens, and give the latest update to UI. You can call it a subscription. Okay, this is subscription, and it passes the latest updated value to this particular UI. So now let's understand the flow again. I am clicking the button here, action is going on to the function, function is passing the instruction to store. Store doesn't know what to do, just have the reducer. This is have the reducer will doing the 0 plus 10, this 0 plus 10, available balance is 10, so the 10 will be updated to store. So now they have 10, and one token of this 10 value will be passed to UI. So here when the 0 were reflected, now the updated balance 10 will be reflected to you. Now let's understand what are the component, what are the entity that take parts in the reducer or the Redux. So one thing is called action. One is called action maker. Who is the action maker? The button or the user which is firing an event, that is an action maker. Then again, after action being passed to this function, the main function of that particular entity is to dispatch the action. It will dispatch the action. The second entity, second analogy is dispatch. After the dispatch will be there, the action will be passed to store. This is store, and inside store it is a reducer that is sitting. That is reducer. It will perform the logic plus minus, and it will update the value to it, and one subscription will be passed back to action maker or UI again. So you will be seeing the reflection of the current output or the latest update in it. So for this particular part, I'll show you one GIF for you, so it will be easier to understand. Okay, तो मैं बात कर रहा था कि आपको दिखाता हूँ फ्लो डायग्राम ऑफ रेडक्स की रेडक्स कैसे काम करता है एक्चुअली में, तो आपको एनिमेशन के थ्रू ज़्यादा बेटर समझ में आएगा. तो लेट्स लुक एट दिस GIF. इंटरनेट पे एक GIF है, इससे बेटर समझ में आता है आपको कि एक्शन एक्चुअली में रेडक्स कैसे काम करता है. तो सबसे पहले आप यहाँ चेक करिए, ये UI है, एक ये UI है. इसके बाद UI से एक एक्शन, एक बटन पर क्लिक किया, फॉर एग्जांपल डिपॉजिट $10, एक क्लिक इवेंट फायर हुआ, उसके अंदर से एक एक्शन बना, और एक्शन आप चेक करोगे कि जा कहाँ रहा है. ये एक्शन आ रहा है सीधा स्टोर के पास, और रिड्यूसर अपने एक्शन परफॉर्म कर रहा है, और यहाँ पे वैल्यू को अपडेट कर रहा है, और एक स्टेट को पास कर दे रहा है वापस से UI पे. दोबारा से आप एक बार देखिए, एक्शन गया पेलोड 10 का, रिडक्स में आया, 0 पास हुआ, ऐड किया उसने, वैल्यू 10 आई, यहाँ पे आके अपडेट कर दिया, सिंपल $10 अपडेट हो गया. दिस इज हाउ रिडक्स वर्क्स इन रियल टाइम. ओके, सो that's it for the video, and I hope you have understood how Redux works and how you can manage state properly using Redux. Thank you.